self-employed in 2013. I worked for a lot of people. I was in customer service most of my life.
Move your head over because you've got that thing in your face.
Oh, just step out the light.
Over this
Wow.
Is it shining in your
This
ear?
way.
No,
Oh, no.
I like the glitter.
There you go.
It's not that. You've got
The
words.
words.
I'm just gonna. Oh,
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah, it's either on the right or left. There you go.
Is that better?
That's cool.
Can you see me now?
Yeah.
I bet. So anyway, I was in customer service most of my life, but I decided that I didn't want to work for anybody anymore, so I became self-employed in 2013. And I actually met Shawn playing poker.
You right.
We introduced each other, and he introduced me to this new concept. It's very interesting. Hopefully you guys are impressed and motivated, but I think that most people don't understand financial strategies, and Shawn is actually very intelligent about that. So he's actually the executive area director of our company, and he's way more knowledgeable about financial strategies than I am. So at this point, I'm gonna let my man step up here and let you know what it is.
Yeah, that's what's up, right on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Looking
sir.
clean. Looking at
Hey,
looking
man.
like new money.
Soap is good. You know?
The soap is good. That's cool.
Oh.
Well, I just want to say just thank you for taking the time to come out here. We'll be here probably about 35, 40 minutes, right? And I'll do some Q&A at the end. But I am super excited about MWR. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And it stands for Make Wealth Real. That's the acronym for it, Make Wealth Real. And before I get started, I guess I just want to give a little bit of background about myself, just so you can kind of know where I'm coming from, you know, how I actually got involved with this, and, you know, why you should maybe even listen to me, you know. So I'll give you a little bit about my background. But then from there, I would like for it to be interactive, so I want to ask you guys questions and really just dial into it. So outside of the company MWR, I'm just super passionate about the topic of financial literacy, period. It's because of, my goodness, it's just, I've been an entrepreneur too, so let me just tell you a little bit about my background, and it'll tell you why I'm so passionate about this financial literacy as a whole. So I like what Josh just said. I have been an entrepreneur now a little over a decade. So going on a little over 10 years, and I started from this network marketing arena, if you will, direct sales and so forth. So I've been around, I've seen a lot of different companies and so forth, network marketing companies. Here and over there, I had some success in some of them I didn't have a lot of success, and things of that nature. One of the biggest things for me back then was duplication. So I'll talk about that. But what even got me started was working a job. So how many of you guys, I think you say you're self-employed. It sounds like you're self-employed. Are you working a job? You work a job? Okay, cool. And how about you guys? Do both of you guys work a job?
Yeah, I do both. I do both.
Just trying to get a feel for the room to see like where it's at. So it's almost about half and half. So we got some self-employed people and you know, entrepreneurs or people who work at W2, which is fine. So that's where my journey started. You know, I was renting cars at Budget Rental Cars, where I was renting cars and I was doing a decent amount of income at the age of 24, 25, doing pretty good, making 50, 60K a year. That's a lot of money for a young 24-year-old kid. But what happened with me is I actually got laid off. So 9/11 came around, I lost that job. And one of the biggest things that was hard for me is I didn't have a college education. I did graduate high school, but I didn't have any degree or anything of that nature. So it was hard for me to go out to the work area, and find another job, if you will, that could pay me like that. And how can I sustain that lifestyle, which wasn't much for a 24-year-old kid. I was making that amount of money, but I was spending it all too as well. So I had the bills that go along with that. You know, I had a car note and insurance, the phone, all that stuff. But I guess long story short is the only thing I could find that would help me get into something else was sales. So that's what really started my whole sales journey, because that was where I kind of had a little bit of control of my income, if you will. I had to work longer hours, but sales is what started my journey. With that being said, I couldn't keep jobs long, you know, so there was something about that. I was either the jobs or it was me. And this is when I was looking at my lifestyle and just me. I think I was always just had that entrepreneurial spirit. For some reason, I couldn't keep a job. The sales jobs were long. And I always just figured out, how can I have control over my destiny? So that's kind of what started my journey. And the biggest way for me to learn how to do that was network marketing. So that's kind of why I went down that path. So I did the friends and family, talked to all the friends. And I call it joining the NFL club, where I had no friends or family left to talk to. So I had to learn how to come online. That's what started my journey online, to learn how to market, right? And generate leads and things of that nature. Long story short is, I took that knowledge and started to sell it to business owners. They didn't know anything about social media. They didn't know anything about lead generation. So I was able to sell that knowledge to business owners. So that's where really my success came from financially, really was selling this information to business owners. It really wasn't from the network marketing space, if you will, the success that they say you can have. You know, I've seen it, I always believed in the potential, I just never achieved it. So, I mean, it kind of, I had to do something, so that's why I started my own business. Come back full circle, I ran into this information, and one of the reasons that really perked my ears was, you might be able to hear from him eventually if you guys stay around with us, but Jeff, that's the guy who introduced this to me, and he was like, Shawn, you know, I gotta wait for you to become your own bank. So I'm gonna talk about that, but that's really what like piqued my ears. It wasn't the network marketing opportunity. I couldn't get an instant pay raise, which you're gonna see me talk about, because I didn't have a W-2 and job, I was self-employed. So this particular strategy didn't really apply to me, if you will, because I didn't have a W-2 job. But how to be your own bank did, and I was making decent money in my business with my wife. We actually had one of our best years, so my mindset was like, what do I do with the money, right? It's kind of, I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it was like to like living from paycheck to paycheck. I knew what it was like to like not have income coming in. So to have our best year, my thought was, I don't want to be broke again. How can I actually have my money finally start to work for me? And I didn't have any financial experts. So that was the thing. I didn't know what to really do with my money, if you will. So that's what really caught my eyes of being my own bank. So that was my journey. I just wanted to give you my background, like how I got here and what caught my interest. One of the biggest things and why I'm so passionate about is this information that we're going to cover is not taught in schools. I'll just flat out be honest with you. That's why I was asking, like who's worked a job, who's been an entrepreneur. This information I'm going to share with you guys, why I'm so passionate about it, it's just not taught in school. I'm very passionate about education. I believe that's important, but I also believe it's important where you're getting information from, like who's teaching you, right? So I found like when we were asking for financial advice, typically we're asking people who don't have the credentials to be helping us with financial information, to be honest with you. You know, and it's okay. You know, normally we get our financial advice at the kitchen table, even from our parents or someone in our household, but if they haven't achieved the success that we're looking for, it just doesn't make sense, right? So that's why I'm passionate about it. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. It's just MWR Financial. And so I just want to ask you a couple of questions before I get started. Has anyone heard of Robert Kiyosaki? You heard of Robert Kiyosaki? Have you heard he wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad? Yeah. Okay, and he also wrote another book that's called The Cash Flow Quadrant. Have you guys heard about that? You haven't heard about that? So that's what I just want to talk to you about just really quickly. The cash flow quadrant. Cash operates out of one of these four quadrants. So you're generating your income right now out of one of these four quadrants. And it's easy for you to recognize on which one you're in. So let's just talk about them really quick, because at the end of this presentation, what I want to be able to share with you is how to get to the right side of the quadrant. This is where money will start working for you. So on the left side, we got employee and we got self-employed. That's where 95% of the people in America generate their income, is either from self-employed or being an employee. And that means that they're basically just trading their time for money, right? And it's okay, but that's the way that operates, right? We gotta get a job, and if we don't show up, we gotta show up to the job and get paid and so forth. Self-employed isn't no different, you're just working for yourself, basically, right? But if you don't show up, you don't get paid, right? So that's the right side. And like I say, 95% of the people are generating their money from there. On the left side, yeah, I'm thinking about how I was looking at it. So it's actually the right side. So on the right side, you got business owners and investors. That the biggest difference between a business owner is you don't have to show up. So the business is making money regardless if you're there or not. So think about like McDonald's or whatnot. This is what I thought was funny, is like, it's a system that works. So, and it can be ran by pretty much anyone. So typically kids are running through the McDonald's or whatnot. My point of that is just that it's a system. And I had this question to ask, just think about this. When in your life, right, because we're all know how to cook a hamburger, in what lifetime would you let a teenager, right, go into the kitchen and make you a burger and bring that back to you? Would you eat it, right? And the reason I'm asking is like, do we trust our kids in the kitchen, right? At what age do you let people in the kitchen start to cook? The reason McDonald's is so successful is because it's not about who's in the kitchen. They have a system that people can follow. The business model actually runs regardless of who's running that system. So that's the right side, and then investor. So, and that's pretty straight, self-explanatory, I would think, but where your money's working for you. Find a way to be able to put your money out there where your money's working for you and you're not working for your money. One of the biggest things that our mentors taught me was like, as long as you're working for money, you'll work for money until the day that you die. That's actually true when you think about it, right? So that's why I got excited about understanding this cash flow quadrant. So what I'm going to be sharing with you is how you can understand on how to touch each one of those quadrants and learn on how to get over into that right side. You can be a business owner or an investor and having your money working for you, right? So that's why I wanted to just bring that up. So let's just hop right into the presentation and just keep that in mind of those quadrants as I go through here. I'm going to share with you on how we can help anyone who's employed, who doesn't have a business or doesn't know anything about entrepreneurship at all the way to the point where they can learn how to start having their money working for them. So if that excites you, I'm super excited to share this with you, but that's the kind of mind frame I want you to think about as I go through this information. So let's just hop right into it. So this is the home of the instant pay raise. Like I said, this is my first time doing this presentation. I'm pretty well versed with the concepts, but I do want to make sure I get the good points that we want to come out of here. So you'll see me looking down at every now and then just to make sure I'm hitting the good bullet points. So let's hop right into it. I want you to think about this. The system that was taught to us, doesn't, like I said, I don't want to bash it, but just think about it. Has it really worked? Think about it. Has this system really worked for you? Like, get a good education, get a job, give 1/3 of your income to pay taxes, use your credit cards to make up the difference to finance the lifestyle that you want, then give another 1/3 of your income to the banks to services your debt, and then use another 1/3 of your income to cover your normal living expenses, and then trying to save or invest for retirement. This is what we're taught. Does this system sound familiar to anyone in here? Right? Go to school, get a good job, get a good education. And the craziest part that always throws me is like when we leave out of college, normally we're leaving with a lot of debt. But this is the program that's taught to us, and when you really think about it, how does that system really work for you or anybody in your family when you really think about it, right? I just like to be, and can I keep it real with y'all? I mean, hopefully y'all don't mind me keeping it real and like, throwing out the truth out there, but this is why I get passionate about it, because this information is super powerful. So let's just hop right into it. And we're not the only ones. So in Forbes, which is the greatest, they say we're in the greatest retirement crisis in American history, and it's happening right now. We're participating in the greatest retirement crisis in history of the world, and in decades to come, we will witness millions of elderly Americans and baby boomers and others slipping into poverty. So you can see down here, it also says from Money Q&A, why are professional athletes going broke, and why you are too? Just think about that. Professional athletes, mainly it's because they don't understand the same principles that we're talking about, like how to actually control their finances. They're making millions of dollars. I don't know if you watched the Netflix special, but millions of dollars end up broke within 5 years. Some of them are filing bankruptcy within 6 years of them leaving whatever that professional thing that they were doing. That's crazy, right? It's really crazy, but it's just because they don't understand on how to leverage their money properly. Market Watch says most Americans are one paycheck away from the streets. This is so true, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And then NASDAQ says that more than half of Americans will retire broke. Super true. If we look at people that are at the age of 65 right now, most people even have $5,000 in their bank account, saved, right? And you're a financial specialist, so, and I'm not a guru. Like what you said earlier, we're still learning. So I'm still learning though too, but I think, like I said, I'm just versed in the stuff that I'm learning. When you think about it and you listen to it, see how you can see people around you if they fall into these situations. And then stop me if you feel that I'm hitting some points that aren't right? Because like I said, I'm not the one killing these stats. But I just wanted to be like transparent. I'm actually learning too as well as we're going through this information.
The unemployment rate is at 3% because baby boomers are having to work.
Wow.
Because they failed to retire. Yeah. So all of the jobs who would usually go to 17 to 25-year-olds, right, like Walmart, Sam's Club,
right,
check.
I never thought about that.
Check cashing places are now going to the baby boomers.
The baby boomers, right?
Because they aren't able to retire.
Wow, that's
a good point.
That's crazy when you really think about that.
It's sad.
It's sad, right? And we'll talk about that too as well. So let's continue to run through the information. So we have good news for you though. Like I don't want to just harp on what's bad. I want to also give a solution, right? So we do have some good news and a better system. So let's talk about this. Our mission is to provide you with the same strategies and experts that are used by the wealthy to overcome your financial challenges created by the taxes, credit, banking, and education systems. Right? And as a result, 70% have less. I just talked about this, $5,000 saved in their bank account by the age 65. It's scary, right? So once again, why is this? 78% of people of Americans are living from paycheck to paycheck. 70% of Americans are paying too much in taxes. So we're going to talk about that. 80% of Americans have credit challenges, and 90% of Americans are buried in debt. I just went from one, and when we say this was really crazy. They're saying buried in debt, but here's what I thought was really quite wild. I went to an investment seminar. What was his name? Kevin O'Leary was out here a couple of weeks ago. So I just went out there. I was like to go to stuff, see what's out there. And the presenter, he said two things that was like, I was like, man, that's crazy. In their whole pitch, what they were selling all on the investment thing, he said two things. He said he had a 95-year-old lady, 95, sign up for their investment program, what they were pitching, right? And then he asked her, and everyone in the room was tripping, like, whoa, like, why are you, she's 95 and you signed up? And they asked her, like, why did you sign up? You're 95 years old. Why did you sign up for this investment program? And her reply back was, I don't want to go another 30 years of my life in this same financial situation. I was like, just think about the optimism on that and how powerful that is. This is a 95-year-old lady still doing, you know, taking business moves because she still wants her financial situation to turn around. Another thing I thought that was really wild, because when they say America's buried in debt, we can't leave this earth without paying taxes. When you think about it, even when you die, you know, you leave this, you still gotta pay a bill when you're dead. Ain't that crazy? You know, it's like you got a death tax. You gotta pay to even leave this earth. Think about it, because if you don't have life insurance, things of that nature, you leave debts go to your family and so forth. How crazy is that? Just to think about that, you're paying even when you leave. So I thought I'd throw that out there. I just think that another event that I was at. So it all starts, so how do we do this? So I talked about the cash flow quadrant. So let's just talk about how we help people go through those four quadrants, from being an employee or self-employed to being a business owner and an investor. So it starts with instant pay raise. We have a proven strategy to increase the take-home pay of over 150 million people, starting with W-2 employees, starting with their very next paycheck. How do we do that? This is why I get passionate about this, because I've been an entrepreneur for so long. I've never been able to, I won't say I bash jobs. My mindset's a little bit different. So I'm always like, you can't control your destiny working a job. You just can't. You can't. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. We gotta do what we gotta do, take care of the family, the bills, I get it. But inside, like deep down inside of me, I know that we can't have our full capacity if we're not owning a business of some sort, right? Because you're working for someone else's dream versus working on your own. So that's just my mindset on it. So let's talk about, make sure I'm on the right slides, the instant pay raise and what that looks like. So it starts with stop overpaying the taxes and let the government use your money all year long interest-free, right? So pay attention to this. Use the home-based business laws to increase your deductions so you can pay less and keep more. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep that matters, right? Would you guys agree with that?
Yes, sir.
And so our experts will help you do the work. So also what I like about this is let the experts do the work. Once I was saying before earlier, one of the reasons that this stuff isn't passed down is because our parents didn't have any financial advisors, and it's not their fault. They just didn't have access to it. Like, this information normally was privy to the wealthy, right? It wasn't privy to it. So our parents will always want to see us succeed. I'm sure they want to pass this down, but they just didn't have access to people that can help them do it. So what I love about this is you don't have to worry about figuring this out on your own. Let the experts help you do it. But the biggest thing I want to point out is most people, when they're getting a tax refund, they're all super excited about a tax refund, but they don't look at the key word that's in there, which is what? Refund. It's a refund, right? You know, so it's a refund. And when you get a refund, it's because typically you're overpaying on something or they owe you money back, right? So when we think about that, people are happy, but I would rather keep my money in my pocket to begin with. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want it to come back on a lump sum if you were taking too much from me to begin with. How would I just keep that from the start? Right? Does that make a little bit more sense? So we're not saying avoid taxes, we're saying pay less on the taxes that you actually qualify for. I'm going to share with you how to actually do that. So it's right here on the line. It's right here, right? It's right here. It's a refund. And then I can't go over here, but it says this is the amount that you what? Overpaid, right? So I mean, who wants to overpay anything? Why would you want to overpay for anything? So why let Uncle Sam take your money, right? Because what they're doing with that money, you know what they're doing with that money? They're using your money in the market to make money on it, make interest on it. How much of that did they give you when they're leveraging your own money?
Zero.
None of it, right? But that's what they're doing, and then they're making money off of it at the end of the year after they made who knows how much. They're giving you a refund off the money that was your own money. So it's like, once again, why we want to continue to pay Uncle Sam. Did he ever thank you for the free interest loan that you gave him? Like, never, right? So that's strategy number one, is helping people be able to adjust their W-4 Okay, that's really all it is about. It's adjusting your W-4 to qualify for expenses, and we were talking about that here in a moment. Like, how do you get the instant pay raise? It's just about learning how to adjust your W-4 properly and having it adjust properly. Most people don't know there's 2 pages to the W-4. We have a tax advisor. His name is Terrence Hawkins. But my point is there's 2 pages to the W-4. Most people just focus on that first page because they don't really realize there's a second page. You can also have your adjustments on there. So we'll talk about that too. But I always like to say, and this is just me, y'all excuse me, sometimes I like to jump off on a whole nother tangent, but it's because it's something to come to my mind. I like to say that there's 3 levels of things that we just don't know. There's the first level of things that we know we don't know. Like, I know I can't speak Spanish, right? And then there's the things that we know we don't know. So I know if you drop me off in Mexico, now I'm going to be lost and I can't speak Spanish. But then there's the things that we don't know that we don't know, right? And those are typically the things that's hurting us. It's the stuff that we don't even know that we don't know, right? So that's why I want to just bring that up real quick.
Blind side.
Huh? Yeah. So strategy number 2 is, once we show you how to adjust the W-4, it's about understanding how to qualify for home-based business deductions, okay? So strategy 2 is use the laws to pay less, right? And how do you do that? It's through understanding the IRS tax codes, right? And to qualify, these are the only things that you must qualify to be able to qualify for tax deductions. Most people get a little bit nervous or scared when we say starting a business, but this is the only thing that has to happen for you to be able to qualify for these deductions. And number 1, which is the most important, is just have the intent to generate a profit. Just the intent to generate a profit. So if you didn't make a profit, well, you had the intent to, so now you qualify for the deductions, right? So don't, that's why we're here to inform, because most people think you need to have a profitable business. No, you just need to have an intent to make a profit. Number 2 is actively participate in your business. So just be active. Meaning an activity is simply something like we're doing right here. This here was an intent to sign someone up, right? This was, I'm active in the business, I'm just presenting. So some of this activity can be very simple. Like me and Josh, we went and hung out at the, where did we go eat the other day? I forgot that one place we went and sat down. But that was just a simple intent because we had a business conversation and we had a person there.
Bubba's or?
That was Bubba's, yeah. So we had a person that came in, that was an intent, right? So that meal could be wrote off because the intent there was to present the business presentation. So now maybe we're able to take regular expenses where we can go out and eat and write that off because we had an intent to make a profit. We were actively in our business. And number 3 is you want to keep proper records. So that's basically just keeping track of your records, which is receipts and things of that nature. And then only claim expenses that are ordinary and necessary. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to share with you guys on how we actually help you with that too as well. Uh-oh, battery is low. Babe, can you grab me just, thank you. All right, cool. So let's talk about what those deductions look like. So this way you can know, like, even if you don't own a business right now, you own a business, so you're probably familiar with this maybe. And then people who don't own a business, it's fine. Let me show you how you can take your ordinary expenses and be able to qualify for this. So there's over 180 potential deductions, but these are just the average 7 that everyone typically can qualify. Our experts, once again, will help you convert your personal expenses to business expenses. So you already got some of these expenses right now, right? So mileage deductions, if you guys, everyone drove here, so you got a car, mileage deduction. I think right now, if I look at it, don't quote me on this, but I think it's 56 cents a mile. Add that up, it adds up quick if you're doing some driving for your business that you can deduct off of your taxes, right? Cell phone, everyone in here got a cell phone, right? Internet, business meals, I just kind of gave an example of that. Business trips, right? Once again, with business trips, you have the intent. So granted, you may be taking that trip for whatever, but all you gotta do is just have the intent. Go there, and have a business card, talk to someone about your business, right? And did you have the intent to generate a profit, right? Regardless if that was a 5-minute presentation on a napkin or whatever, that'll allow you to write that business trip off because you conducted business there. Medical expenses, this one's really crazy. This is where I'm loving this because me and my wife, once again, I told you we just did a little bit more better on the money, so now we don't qualify for the Medicaid or whatnot. So that was scaring me. Well, it wouldn't scare me, but damn, insurance is expensive. Stop it. So this is major because now we can write off our medical insurance and expenses. Like seriously, like this is major because now to have to pay $500-600 bucks, I can see why people have insurance. It's stupid. Like, but you can write it off if you have a business, right? And hiring your children. Most people don't know this. So you have a child between the ages of 7 and 17, Don't give them a, what do you call it, allowance. No, you pay them and write that off. I'm serious, right? So you put
it's true.
It's true.
No, it makes sense.
I
My
get it.
11-year-old daughter is literally my assistant.
Yeah.
So
So
funny.
write that off,
I need to
right?
start
File a
adopting
couple
kids. I'm not
receipts.
selling
Mhm.
adopting kids.
What's funny is this can go up to 15K per child.
Mhm.
That's massive. So if you do the math, right? So one kid, you can write off up to 15K on your taxes. This is legitimate expense that we already qualify for.
And
So
when they don't qualify for daycare anymore, you just make them an employee.
yes, make an employee. That's it. So we want to prove it to you first, right? So I'm not just saying this. You can go to our website, write this down. It's www.myinstantpayraise. I don't see it on here, but it's there. It's at the top. myinstantpayraise.com.
It's actually on the back. I think it's on the back.
Well, that's .info, so be careful because that will send you to my
Yes, sir,
site.
yes,
But it's
sir.
here. Doesn't cost you anything. It's a pay raise estimator, and then right here you can see right here it says our instant pay raise estimator will give you a good idea of how much owning MWR business. Well, once again, we just say this because some people may not have a business. If you already have a business, it doesn't. You already got a business, right? But we want to show people how to get those deductions if they don't have one, and immediately take home on your W-2 pay immediately, right? So like I said, there's over 180, but here's just the top 7. So we just covered these. But all you have to do is literally come here, type in how many miles you're driving per month. So it's 50. Is that me? Oh.
Yourself.
I think it's yourself over at the
Oh. Is it on here?
alert.
It's like your Google.
Alert.
Is that
Alert.
what it is? I'll let it go out. 'Cause I don't feel like this one. So,
It must be a good point.
right? So try putting in your miles. If you put in how much you're paying for your cell phone, how much your internet expenses and so forth, right? Just put in, everyone's numbers are different. So everyone's gonna qualify for a different amount. You can see this person put in 1 child, right? Which qualifies you up to $12,000 for the year. $5,000 12 months, or $12,000 in tax-free income they're eligible to earn annually. So the average person is probably getting anywhere taxed between 20 and 30%. So just look at these deductions. This person right here would qualify for a $329 a month, depending on how they got paid. Increase on their paycheck, right? Like what would an extra $329 do for any of y'all on your paycheck? Right? Especially just working a job, right? That's about the average. What we see is anywhere between $300 and $600 annually. That's almost $4,000 annually back in their pocket. How big is that? That's major. For doing nothing but simply following these deductions.
And that's usually more than the refund.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Well, so everyone's numbers are different.
Right.
But I just want to give you an example that we're actually showing people how to put money in their pocket. That's why I get passionate about it, because we're not selling a lotion, potion. Granted, those businesses are cool. Not, I start off in the health and wellness, and I guess my point here is like we're actually selling something that can actually help people, regardless if they did the business opportunity or any of those things of that nature, just from applying for these basic principles right here. So that calculator, you plug your own numbers in, it'll let you know pretty much what you would qualify for or any of your family members or so forth. So I just talked about this. It's just a blown up version of it. I don't think I missed anything on that, so I'll keep going. But the national average is between $300 and $600 per month. And that's not me saying it or MWR saying that. This is based off of the U.S. Census Bureau back in 2016 figures for American workers. That's the type of pay raise people are seeing on their paycheck just from doing those business expenses, okay? So pretty powerful stuff on how to get money back into their pocket. So let me see what I got here. Okay, I don't want to miss that slide. Let me go back. So what would instant pay raise do for you and your family? Would it improve your lifestyle, current? I always like to say this because it says your current and future. So, would it relieve some stress, be able to take a vacation? I was just talking to the dude up in the front. I actually know him. He plays poker too. That's so funny.
The guy with the glasses?
Yeah, the bigger, heavy set dude. You can play the poker game, right?
That's next Monday.
Yeah, that's next Monday, right.
Yeah, lessons.
So, yeah, I play with him on Monday. That's so funny. He works here. But he was saying his mom, and they just took a vacation and so forth. And he was a little depressed for the first 2 days and they left him, you know what I mean? And they're going to do a little 7-day cruise and stuff of that nature. Catch up on some debts, give more, live better. So what I always like to say is this, I learned this from a mentor too. We're looking to take care of 2 lifestyles, we have to do them simultaneously. We need to take care of our current lifestyle, that's putting food on the table, rent, necessities, things of that nature. But then we also need to be taking care of our future lifestyle. So when we get a little bit older, because you got to think, when we get a little older, we don't want to, like you were just saying, we won't be working at the Walmart when we're 65, 70, right? We want to be having our money working for us. The thing is our current lifestyle is paid for by labor. I talked about that earlier with the cash flow quadrant. It's paid for by labor, time, and things of that nature. Our future lifestyle isn't paid for by labor, it's paid for by investments. Think about it, if you want to be 75, still trying to, that's not a lifestyle anymore, really, you know what I mean? So what we want to do is show people how to live above their bills and be able to also take care of their current lifestyle and future lifestyle at the same time. Because they have to happen simultaneously, that's the thing. So that's what we want to be able to share with you on how to do that. So what I want to introduce to you guys today is what we call the MWR Financial Edge Membership. Your personal team of financial experts that use proven strategies to secure you and your family's future. That's what this is really all about. That's why I'm super passionate about it, is think about all of successful people. They have mentors, and they also have people managing their money. Show me any wealthy person right now who doesn't have an accountant, you know, like people who are managing their finances and doing investments for them. Show them to me. They have someone managing their bread. Why don't we? Right? Because we just don't have access to it. If you really think about it, why don't we have someone managing our money too as well? Right? It would make sense, right? So what I love about this, you don't have to be an expert. Let the experts do it for you, right? So let's just talk about, we got 4 services. I'm going to cover those 4 services so you can know. And these are the 4 services that I talked about earlier that's going to help us go through those 4 quadrants. So let's just talk about Money Max. This is unlimited financial advice on demand. So I just talked about how powerful it was and how it would be cool to have experts in your corner. So just think about it. You get advice from qualified experts without having to pay $200 to $300 an hour. I don't know if you guys have CPAs, CFPs, or EAs, which stands for Enrolled Agent with the IRS. They're not cheap, right? To do your taxes or whatnot. So you get unlimited consultations with CPAs, CFPs, and EAs, answers to virtually any financial matter. So when we talk, like I was talking about that W-4, or if you learn how to adjust it, they're here to answer the question and help you get that understood. All the deductions I talked about, maybe there's some deductions that out of those 7 that you may qualify for. You can ask the expert, right? And they can help you qualify for that stuff. Tax reduction, history rate support, help you adjust your W-4s. They'll also look at your last 3 years tax returns, and once again, let them do that. But if they find something there that you filed those last 3 tax years, those last 3 years tax returns, and find a way that they can amend and find some money that might be there for you, they'll re-amend those taxes for you and resubmit them to get that money that you could qualify for. So that's pretty cool to help them look at it. And then automated mileage and expense tracker. So remember, one of the things I said is you must have the intent to be able to make a profit. But then the second one is record keeping. At the end of the day, you need to keep good records, right? Because whatever we're filing, if you're ever to get audited, the main thing they're looking for is basically good record keeping. So we have a tool to help you be able to do that as a tax bot, and it just helps you be able to keep good records. It does the mileage for you. When you have a receipt, you know, I was taught old school, we had to keep the receipt in the box. I don't know if y'all have been through that. But here, now you just take a little picture of your receipt when you go out, and it's already filed in your computer in our smartphone. So you're able to keep good records, so at the end of the year, you can send a P&L, which is a private and loss statement, to your tax advisor, which you've been on your expenses. It's really nice and clean, so they can even file those taxes for you and keep everything clean, if you will. So that's the biggest thing, is keeping good records. So we give you a tool to help you be able to do that. So that's the Money Max. The next service is Credit Max. So once again, I got passionate about this because I just went through this. We just bought a house. Me and my wife just bought a house, and my goodness, right? Man, so I mean, that's a whole other story, but one of the biggest things that we had to focus on getting it right before we could do anything was right here, right? We couldn't do nothing until this got right? So that was a whole nother, but that's my point was I learned a lot. You don't learn about this stuff until you have to do something with it, right? I wasn't worried about no credit things. I was always paying cash, that I was the man just paying cash deals or whatnot, so I had to make a big financial investment, or if you want to call it, or buying a home. I couldn't do that until that credit was right. I just told you I was making good money. It didn't mean nothing. I couldn't get the house without having this. I gotta have all the good money in the world. I was gonna pay cash for the house. Couldn't do that. I wasn't making that kind of money, right? So my point is I learned a lot about credit, like what it takes to fix it. There's 5 different things that affect your FICO score, but there's 2 major ones, which is your debt to income, and then utilization of the car. So, and we can touch on that just for a second. I don't want to enlighten you guys a little bit. I see you shaking your head because you probably know about this a little bit. Anybody got credit cards in here? You got credit cards? You got a credit card? Cool. You got credit cards? All right, you got a credit card?
Too many.
Too many, right. So one of the things that I think that was big for me that I didn't know is, did you not know that utilization of that credit card is like 30, I think it's 35 or 30% of your score.
30%.
30% of your thinking. So it's 30% of your score. So I didn't know that, right? So what that means is if you have, let's just use a $500 car, for example, you only want to use 30% or lower. So actually, if you use more than that 30%, so in this scenario, you need to use $125 off of a $500 car. That's all you can use.
That's your limit.
That's your limit, technically. Yeah, I mean, really it is. People don't know this. So when you're doing 250, 275, that's actually killing your score because you're going over that. I didn't know that. See, most people don't know that. They're living on credit cards and or whatever the case may be, but they don't even know that it's actually killing their score. And it's major. Like credit is up there. It's queen, maybe king.
Oh, man.
I mean, you almost like
It's like your SAT scores and
it's
your
everything
double
now.
praying. You can't do nothing.
getting a job. You need it now to get a job.
Yeah.
And they look at that just to hire you. Like, I don't even know what that has to do with employment. But they actually, and I think it's unfair, but they actually judge us based off of this right here, that score in our history. And does that really tell who you truly are? Nah, everyone has situations, something might happen in your life. It doesn't really speak to who you truly are, your credit, but you know, that's what they look at. So with that being said, the Credit Max helps, it's a restoration strategy, right? So high credit scores, lower interest rates, down payments, insurance premiums, it affects all that stuff. And the average credit increase that we're seeing is anywhere between 50 to 150 points. It's a credit rebuilding strategy. And I don't know if you know this, but if you guys are renting, right, you can actually report your rent. Most people don't know that. You can report your rent, and we can show that to you through here. I think it's free. I know we provide the service. I don't know if that third party reports is there a cost or not. But basically, if you're renting, I wish we knew this when we were going in our house. We were renting for 2.5, 3 years. That was 2-3 years of payment history that I could have leveraged. I mean, right?
The sad part is they don't teach us in school.
Stop it, man. This stuff ain't
It's
it.
like-
Yeah, it's not. Like, and who knows that? Like, right now, if I, you know, that's why I get passionate about it. It's frustrating sometimes when you think about
Some people get mad.
I know a couple people have been super pissed because they feel like, yeah, they've been duped their whole life, right? But who knows that if you didn't know that, let us show you on how you can leverage your rent to actually report to the credit bureaus, because that's an installment. You need to have two types of installment and then revolving credit. So this is a way for you to actually have that installment credit. Well, actually, it is installment credit, basically, this one here. And identity theft. So once again, they do all the work for you. You don't have to know, like I had what I had to go through. And you can do this stuff by yourself, to be honest with you. It just takes time. And it's still a little bit expensive. I remember I had to send off the papers and the letters and all that stuff, certified letters. So it's just time consuming, right? So let the experts do and all they're doing is on your behalf is looking at stuff that's inaccurate or erroneous on your report and fighting it for you, basically, and helping you be able to secure your credit. They help you increase your credit profile is what they do. They just don't help you increase your score. They help you have a good credit profile, right? You need to have installment credit, revolving credit, that debt to income ratio needs to be down. So they help you have that whole profile so that way you can increase your score. So that's what the Credit Max is. So here's an example of how powerful it is. And then this is not just for people with bad credit, so don't think that. If you have decent credit, right? It's about average. I think they call this good, I think, or fair. And what's crazy is 650. It's like fair, man. It's crazy. Like 700 is good. You know what I mean? So look at the points. This is a 29-point increase. This person had a 661 to a 690. But look at the difference of what it did for them on interest rates. On their car loan, they were at a 9.4. But just that 29-point increase, it dropped down to a 5.0. That's major. That's 4 points. On a credit card here over $2,000, right? They had a 9.7 APR. That 29-point increase, a 5.4 APR. That's major. Saving, over $2,000. And on a mortgage, let's not talk about major that is. It may not look major, but that 4.6 to a 3.9, it's like a 1.5. That's major. Just from simply being able to increase the score. So this ain't just for people with bad credit. If you don't have an 850, this can help you. Basically, that's the highest you can get is 850 credit score. All right, so hopefully that's making sense. The third service is Equity Max. So what I like about this one, it's super powerful. It's a debt elimination strategy. So it helps eliminate the interest by getting out of debt faster, right? So what I like about this the most is we help you do this without having to generate more money, right? They actually put together a plan for you where you can actually keep your same job, keep your same income, keep your same budget, and pay off all your debts in record time. right? Monthly statements that will tell you exactly what to do. So they actually put together an exact plan for you. You might be a little familiar with this kind of strategy, but they put together a plan for you to understand on which debts to pay on first, based off of the interest rates and so forth, and how to take that newfound money, which we're going to share with you too, the instant pay raise, and how to apply that towards your debts so that way you can pay off your debts in record time. So if you can get out of, save yourself 1/3 or half the time on your debts, that's powerful. What I also love about it is you can do it without having to generate any extra income. They show you exactly how to do it with the plan that you're at right now. So the average family example, let's just use as an example and see what we got here. So, okay, yeah, so what they just did here is basically what I just explained. This is the an average American's family example. So these are the principles that they have in the monthly, the time frame, the interest and so forth, they need to pay it off. So if we look at this with the creditor's plan, if you stayed on their plan and paid this back to how they gave you with the minimum payments and all that stuff, you can see here with a debt of over $200,000, $209,000 here, the monthly expense is $28,900, 29 years, and this would be the balance that would be paid. Is that it? No, interest paid. I'm tripping. That's crazy.
Interest.
That's the interest that you would pay
for 29 years.
For 29 years on that $200K. With this plan that will help you put in place with that same debt, you'll be able to actually pay it off in 7, almost 8 years, and look at the interest that you would pay. So look at that savings of almost $160K just from understanding how to pay down that same debt. Now what's wild about this, once again, this is with the same amount of money. This was not with an increase in cash flow or nothing. This is understanding strategically on how to pay off your debt and get it done in record time. So you can kind of see how powerful that is to have a debt elimination strategy. And everyone's is obviously a little bit different based off of their situation. So, and the last but not least is Wealth Max. This is what got me, was this. All the other services, like typically in the other different presentations, you hear that the other services is what got them, is what people either work on a job or they want a credit. This happened to find me when I just went through all that. So I was like, dang, where was this at? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like 8 months, because I just went through all of that to get this house. So that's why I knew this stuff was so powerful, because I just went through it, right? And I didn't have an expert technically to help me. And mine was from the whole banging my head up against the wall and figuring it out with my own money and things of that nature. So that's how I knew this stuff was powerful, and this what got me. My dude, Jeff, he was like, Shawn, you got a PRA account? I was like, wait, what is that? What's a PRA account, bro? He's like, you can be your own bank. I was like, be my own bank. Okay, I'm interested, bro, because that you got me. What do you mean, be my own bank? So let's talk about that. So it's unlimited consultations with real wealth experts, professional analysts to develop a best wealth plan to help you and your family. So here is actually where I definitely want to hit my notes, because I understand it, but here, y'all, I'm still learning, right? Because these are where the experts really come in play. So let me stop for a second before I'm going to read these notes, because I just want to be transparent with you. I want to make sure I hit this. But I talked about the cash flow quadrant. So I talked about employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. This piece here is the investor. So I've already shared with you on how we help them get an instant pay raise if they're an employee, right? Or self-employed, we show them how to keep proper tax records so that they can have the business expenses, right? And then we'll talk about how if you want to join the MWR business, you can leverage this as a business. But then what's that last one? Investing. At some point, you want to have your money working for you where you're not working for your money. So this part right here, the private reserve account, is the best way for you to save, grow, and protect your money. Key word right here, tax-free, right? With no risk of loss, right? I know that might sound hypey, but it's true, and we will talk to you a little bit about the concepts of how this works. And then land banking, this is super powerful too. Pay attention to this. It's real estate. So there's so many different ways to play in real estate. And if you guys know, real estate is creating the most millionaires, if you will. But one of the things about land, buy land for 20 to 40% below the market value in the path of growth. This is a part that's super important without having to write a check. So the reason that this is super important, I never heard of land banking. But when I thought about it more, it made sense. What is one thing that they're not making no more of? It's land. You can have, like, if you're in Colorado, you know, this property out here is stupid expensive, right? But what is one more thing they're not making out here? It's that land. And I think about this, though, too. He says in the path of growth. So my people's from the South. I got people in West Memphis, Little Rock, Jericho, Arkansas, like all that down south. Huh?
South Carolina?
I got some people in South Carolina too, right?
That's where I'm headed.
Yeah, actually, we're going to South Carolina in August, actually, for the company event.
Really?
Because we're actually still in pre-launch, believe it or not. We're actually bringing this to the world in August in South
Where's
Carolina.
South Carolina?
Yeah.
We're about
Charlotte?
halfway through on
That's North Carolina.
Oh, North, you're right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right.
I
North
mean,
Carolina.
it's like right there.
Yeah, you're right. So North Carolina, but we'll be there in a couple of months. What was I going to say? Oh, so I got people down south, right? We got some land down there. I found my dad, grandma all got the land or whatnot.
Cheap.
But guess where it's cheap? Guess where it's at? It's in the sticks. Right? It's in the bayous and all that. The key thing that I want to say is it's not in the path of growth. So when I was thinking about it, it's like we'll have it in the family or whatnot, but who are we ever going to sell that to? It's in the country. You know, so don't get me wrong. So when it comes to investing, investors are smart. So what they're doing is they got land and things happening in California right now. Like Warren Buffett's got this train and stuff coming out there. Anytime a Walmart or a Walgreens move into small towns, you know why they're doing that? Because they know that the growth is coming in. Anytime you see a Walmart coming to town, know that there's growth coming there. I used to sell signs, outdoor lighted signs back in the day when I was selling signs, right, to businesses and so forth. And I remember when my mentor took me, went down to Texas, and we drove down there. And we were in them small little towns that's in between the cities and stuff like that. So we stopped in there, and I'll never forget it, man. They were heartbroken. They're like, man, Walmart's coming. I'm like, that's cool. They're like, no, it's not, because back then the doctors, they were in their own pharmacy. Y'all remember they used to have their own photograph people. The person had all that equipment and stuff. The eye doctor was their own eye doctor, had his own glasses and all that. It was like 3 different type businesses, man. When you could see the frown on these people's faces, because they're like, we're finna go out of business. I'm like, what do y'all mean? They're like, man, Walmart's coming. I didn't understand it then. I get it now. When Walmart's coming in, them small pop, they knew that they were done because all that stuff was in Walmart. They couldn't compete, shut them down. So my point of that is they buy land in the path of growth. So that's very important to understand. Is like when you have land in part of growth. Now think about it. Walmart's coming in there. They don't rent nothing. They don't rent anything. They buy what they want. So if you got that land that produces growth, they're like, okay, I like that. The community's coming around. And what drives growth in cities the most? You know what it is? What drives growth or in companies that come in? What is it?
Marijuana.
That's a good one for here, right?
Mushrooms.
That's another good one. But what is that also bringing in when the marijuana came in? What that bring in also though?
people.
And what else? With the people comes
Money.
and jobs.
Right.
So that's what they're looking for. So you look at Amazon, where they went, they're bringing over 200,000 people for wherever they went. That brings in growth, brings in money, which brings in. So if you own the property that needs to handle those growth, you see where I'm going with this? So it's about being smart about understanding how to buy land in the path of growth. Our experts actually do that. They actually already go buy the land. They already own it and stuff of that nature. They're just giving us a piece of the pie where we can actually take some of our investments and be able to have them help us do that. So let me read this real quick. At this point in time, Wealth Not Experts will help you make money even more. Let me go back. Even more with Wealth Max, you have an unlimited consultation with real wealth strategies, and specialize in developing the right plan for you. I covered that, so let me go down here. So right here. These wealth strategies and developing the right wealth plan for you will also provide you with the best ways to save and grow and protect your money tax-free with no risk of loss. Imagine becoming your own private bank where you could benefit from the stock market gains without having to participate in any scary losses, and you can even borrow from yourself while the money you borrow continues to be invested, and it has never left your account. I bet your old 401k cannot do that. So let me just stop there for a second. That's what got me. I was like, man, what are you talking about? So think about in 2008, what happened in 2008 when that stock market crashed? Everyone lost a ton of money, right? People who had those 401ks, some people were ready to retire, that 401k hit, and now they can't retire. That's why they had to go back to these Walmart stuff. Think about if you saved up for all this, and in 1 year, you lose over 50% of your 401k. That's scary. I can see how that was scary for a lot of people, you know. But think about, so when we talk about this is they took that hit. So what a private reserve account is, when they say no losses, because your money is in the stock. What happens is if the market goes down, you don't go down with it. Yours just stays right there. And as the market starts to go back up, you actually go up with it. And if the market just drops again, you just don't go down. So that's the only thing is, it's not that you just don't lose money because you're not going down with the dips. You're staying even. So just think about those people who did lose money. When it goes back up, they're not making money. They're actually trying to catch back up to what they actually lost. Does that make sense? So that was one thing. The banks play arbitrage with the money, so that's what you're able to do. I don't know if you guys are familiar with arbitrage, but basically they're loaning you out money and they still have the money in the market. So they're still making money on the market and they're making money on those loans and they don't have any money in the bank. I don't know if that's crazy. So they're actually they're double dipping on the same money. This allows us to be able to do that. So what I was sharing there is you're able to borrow money from yourself. So this is what's so powerful about this private reserve account. You put money into it and you borrow from yourself. So if I know this stuff, what I know now, I want to make a little bit of some different changes. But think about being able to borrow from yourself. So when you go to buy a car, let's just use a car for example, what way would you typically go buy a car?
Or your bank or...
Your bank, okay. And if you get a loan, if you don't go to the bank, what's the other way you can buy a car?
Cash.
Pretty much cash. Those are really two options, right? Cash or a bank. So imagine being able to borrow from yourself. So instead of going to the bank where they're playing arbitrage with your money, having you pay that interest rate, why don't you borrow it from yourself? Right? And then as you borrow from yourself, now you can go to the bank and pay cash for the car. But what's crazy is since you borrowed it from yourself, your money is still in the market, growing, and you're paying yourself back. Now, I guess this is what's funny. If you miss a payment, guess what? You're not even going to come grab the car because you're paying yourself back. Does that make sense? So this is this is the private reserve account they teach us on how to do. That's super powerful. Knowing what I know now, same thing for bigger investments, houses, things of that nature, pile from your private reserve account. So start putting money. Knowing what I know now, there's no reason to really put money in a bank when you think about it. Why do we put our money in the bank? Like why do you put your money in the bank?
I don't.
Good. That's awesome. Why do you guys put your money in the bank? There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just looking for engagement.
Some of it's habit. I mean, you're trying to get a consistent discipline of
Right.
saving.
It's a way for me to get it to where I can pay my bills through there and it goes directly to them. I don't have to wait for no check and stuff like that. But
Got you.
you know, that's
This is what
kinda like
we
I
were
need
taught to do.
Habit.
It's just
Yeah.
habit. I mean, where else are we going to put it? This is what we're taught to do, right? That's what I'm saying. So there's nothing right or wrong with it. But if we know that the banks, we're putting the money in there and they're taking it and going into the market and making interest off of it and not paying us anything, charging us to use the bank, what sense does it really make to put our money?
The sickest part is when you try to come cash a check and they deposit it, but you can't use the funds for days. It's like, what?
Right.
There's money in there, but I can't use it? It's crazy.
And the banks know all this. So I'm just trying to bring a level of awareness, like when you really think about it, what sense does it really make to put our money in a bank that's charging us to use the bank? They're taking our money and putting it in the market and making money off our money and not giving us any percentage on it, and then giving us, I think it's a percentage of a percent, right, on interest on our money. So when you really think about it,
It's like
I get
0.05% or something like
I
that.
get
yeah.
this 1 cent thing that they keep giving me. And I don't
Right.
play.
so I'm just wanting to bring a level of awareness, like when you
Where's
really
my
think
10
about
cents?
it,
Once a month, you get 1 cent.
what sense does it make to really have our money in there? So I just wanted to just bring that up. So the Wealth Max is, come down here, got a few more slides and we pretty much should be through. So, so this is what I'm just showing you here. So with the Wealth Experts, turning your tax credit and debt savings into wealth. So I'll just read this off again though too, so I don't miss them. By using these wealth principle strategies of our Wealth Max, experts can turn your tax credit, debt savings into a passive income and to make wealth a reality for you and your family. Think about it. With the average monthly savings of $300 to $600, which we show you on how to get with an instant pay raise, plus a $300 or more through credit restoration, that's $2,900 a month thanks to debt elimination. That's over $3,500 per month that can be used to be saved or invested with an annual return anywhere between 6 to 12% using the private reserve account or land banking strategies. You can literally become debt-free or a multimillionaire in record time. So let me show you what we're talking about. So we just, through those tax saving strategies, the credit restoration, and the debt elimination plan for that particular example that we showed you, that's an extra cash flow of $3,500 a month. If you were to take that $3,500 a month and just put it into something that gave you an annual return of 3%, that's what you would make in 10 years. Just putting $3,500 a month away for something that gave you an annual return of 3%, that's over almost $500,000. 20 years, that's over 1.1 million. 30 years, that's 2.0 million. Any one of us could be a millionaire from simply knowing where to put our money at a 3% return. Let's not mention that we did that at 6 or 12.
Well, most of us are millionaires. We just already spent it.
Well, most people are going to make $1 million in their lifetime. They say the average person is going to make $1 million. And if you worked at a job and you made $40,000 a year, in 20 years, you technically made $1 million.
Yeah.
Right? So actually, we all make $1 million. But we maybe really realize on how much $1 million really isn't nothing. Let's take this in perspective. If I was to give every one of you guys $1 million right now,
Let's do it.
right? But just look at this again, for example, right? How long would that really last you? You know, it's pretty wild. Well, using the same example I just said, if you just lived on $40K a year, in 20 years, you'll be broke. I'll only be 60 in 20 years. I'm gonna be at Walmart looking for another job if I don't know what to do with that $1 million. So $1 million really isn't a lot of money. You know what I mean? If you think about it. So, so my example here, if you just had $3,500 freed up at those annual returns, one thing I like to call them the solid income killers. This is just another rant, if you will. But I call them the silent income killers because people don't know that they're solid. Number one is inflation. So, you know, that same $20 I used to pull in my gas tank when I was driving my 1979 Volvo, used to fill up my whole gas tank. Now $20 barely moves that needle. Why is that? It's the same $20.
Inflation.
Inflation. It doesn't have the same value. But inflation grows at 3 to 5. I don't know what it is, don't quote me, but anywhere between 2 to 3% a year. So think about people who have a job, if they're not even getting a raise on their job at 3%, they're losing money. Technically, right? I mean, because the cost of living around us is going up, food's going up, gas is going up, rent's going up. If your pay ain't going up, you're losing money. Technically, that's why I call it silent. People don't see it. The next one's taxes. We talked about that, debt, and then big business. So I call them silent because most people aren't seeing how they're actually losing money, right? So I just wanted to give that as an example on how we all could be a millionaire if we just know how to use our money properly and put it in vehicles that are giving us a return on it. So, so let's just close this up. The Financial Edge membership, everything you need to succeed. So to wrap this up, I talked about how I want to show with you how we can take a person through all 4 of those quadrants: employee, self-employed, business, and investor. So I just talked about how we were able to do that with this one program. So let's just talk about just the price and everything. I see the price is over there, but I want to ask you guys, everything that you need to succeed: the Money Max, helping people have unlimited access to experts; Credit Max, helping them with the credit restoration; Equity Max with a debt elimination plan; and then we just talked about the private reserve. These strategies are experts that will do the work for you. Now, without even seeing that price over there, because we're going to talk about that, but for real, how much do y'all think that would cost just to have a CPA in your corner? Like, just give me some numbers. I don't know if you had your taxes done. What is your normal tax person charge you?
$250 to $500.
Right, here you go, $200 to $500, right? Just to have it, and for that one time. And can you call them unlimited and keep continue to ask for advice? Probably can. But it was $500.
She's a good friend.
But okay, that's cool. That's a little different. That's a little different. So, but what's sweet about this, y'all, is all those services, you get them for just $79, basically. There's no contracts. There's no setup fees. So we're not trying to keep you obligated. You can have access to this, leveraging all those components, right? So yeah, your complete financial strategy membership. So it's only $79 a month. And we're talking about how you can actually get this for free here and everything. What also got me was that includes your spouse. So when I learned that too, that's what also had me like super, because typically if you're married, right, typically your spouse has some debt or has some credit or has something, right? You guys are in the same household, so they probably need some help too as well. So that's super powerful to be able to have all these services for just $79.97 a month. And we already just said it's normally about $250 to $500 just to have CPAs on our team, right? So I talked about the 4 quadrants. Here's a nice map of it, but you can see here I was talking about the employee, self-employed, business, and investor. This one business opportunity helps you to encompass all of those. It helps you if you're an employee. We share with you how to get instant pay raise. If you're self-employed, we share with you how to have the right tax deductions by keeping the proper tax records. Business owner, by having a business either with MWR or ourselves, we just get paid to share this information. To be honest with you, that's what I'm doing right now is really by choice. Like I told you before, I'm passionate. I don't have to really be here technically. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy it. Like I'm passionate about sharing information, helping people have financial literacy and have a level of awareness to make an informed decision about their finances. And I talked to you about how you can actually learn how to start investing your own money where it's working for you, right? So I'm gonna talk to this about this, and then we pretty much should be done. Is how we actually can get paid. So if you want to look at this from a business opportunity, we actually make some really good money. I want to talk to you really about just about 2 of the main ways. We get paid 10 different ways. I won't go into all those, but I'll talk to you about this is our guaranteed income. This is my favorite one, so that's the one I'm going to talk to you about the most. And then the other one's just more leverage, some residuals, some passive income, some bonuses. All this stuff is cool, right? I'm not up here to blow out how you can just make tons of money, you're going to be rich overnight. But I do want to show you how you can, some sharing this with a few people, be able to, I don't know, an extra $600 or $1,000 a month, be able to make a difference in your life. Just from sharing it with a few people. That's what I want to share with you and where my personal results are. So we get paid daily just to share our instant pay raise strategy, our financial edge membership, and the opportunity with others. And we just enjoy the rewards, which is guaranteed income, some immediate income, some leverage income. So let me just show with you a little bit about that. So let me just ask you a question. How many W-2 employees do you know who would like an instant pay raise?
Everybody.
Right? You know someone who working a job and would like a pay raise? You're self-employed, but I'm sure you might know some people who was working a job. These are people that need our help. Government employees, family and friends, co-workers, church members, business professionals, classmates. You refer and you earn. So let's talk about how we actually get paid. Let's talk about the customer side of it. So our financial membership customer bonuses. So we got a 3 and free. So the reason we asked that is down here, refer 3 customers and your membership is free. So that's why I asked that. I'm sure we all know 3 people who's working a job who can use instant pay raise. Or may want to fix their credit. Or may want to learn how to eliminate their debt. Or may want to learn how to have investments working for them. Regardless, it's 3 and free. So we'd like to say, if you just want to be a customer, you don't want to do the business, but you do see the benefits of leveraging the service, you share it with 3 people, your service is free. So you actually have access to everything I just explained here today for free just from sharing it with 3 people. Now, obviously, they got to be active customers paying that $79, but it's free. But now let's say you want to actually do the business, right? So now, I just talked about the 3 and free, but if you actually now want to do the business, now you would actually, instead of, if they become a customer, you actually make $40 for every customer that you sign up, right? Once again, we were talking about 3 and free, so if you still do 3 customers, your service is still free. If you're a business rep, you get paid $40, right? Here's what's really cool. After your 3rd customer, I'm gonna have it on here. So after your 3rd customer, they basically pay you $10 per month. That's infinity. So let me just recap on that so y'all understand how powerful this is. If you're a customer, you just refer 3 people, your service is free, basically. If you want to be a representative and you refer a customer, you get paid $40 per customer. So 3 customers, that's 3, it's $120. Your after that, your fourth customer and beyond, they pay you $10 every month for infinity. So that means like every customer that you bring on, so that means you got 10 customers, that's $100 a month. Plus the initial 40 that you made bringing them on too as well, so don't forget that. Hopefully that makes sense, right? So it's super simple. Go ahead, you got a question?
So does it have to be just customers, or what if they sign up as a representative as well? It has to be.
Yeah, we're just talking specifically customer,
right?
Just customer, right? That's what I love about this is I've been in the game for a while. That 2 things before, for this to get my focus and take it from my business, I had to see a couple of things. Number 1 was value. I learned a long time ago that, don't get me wrong, I want to make money, y'all. I'm here to make money. I'm all about taking care of my family, things of that nature. But I also understood that you have to have something of value. I didn't want something that was just commission-based, that people were just selling this to make commission. This stuff's so powerful, I showed it to my mom. When I got something I can bring to my mom or my parents or my grandma, that's when I know I got something. Like, seriously, would I sell it if there wasn't a commission attached to it, is what I'm saying. So to answer your question, and then the other reason I'm saying that is because is there something that I can sell that would just be customer based? Like, would I sell it just to help a person and it was just a customer? Not you have to worry about building a team. So to answer your question is this is just focused on the customers. So obviously there's a rep side, but if you do the rep, that's different. This is just straight customers. Just helping people with the service and service only, basically. So hopefully that makes sense, the 3 and free. One more thing I forgot to say. Say you sign up as a rep, but your customer, they want theirs for 3 and free, right? They just want to be a customer. And do you know you get paid the $40 for every customer they bring, because they're simply not a rep. So that means you make the 40 then, they don't. So that's pretty sweet too. So if you're a customer, they want theirs for 3 and free, they don't sign up for a rep, you actually make that $40 plus the $10 every month for them just bringing in 3 customers. So that's pretty cool too as well. Now I'll share the opportunity with you. We talked about 3 and free. This whole business model is based off of get 3. That's it. This whole thing is about 3. It's just build 3 reps and 1 customer is what this is all built off of. So the momentum bonus here, qualified financial director. They changed these words up on us. So let me just show you this here. If you get 3, we talked about guaranteed income. So if you get 3 qualified directors, that means 3 people who actually want to do the business, and 1 customer in your first 30 days, they'll actually pay you an additional $150. This is just a momentum bonus. If you help those 3 go out there and get 3, they'll pay you an additional $450. And if we help those 12 at that time, I'll show them how to go out there and get 3. This is just a bonus. They'll give you an extra $900, which is pretty cool. So if you do this within your first 100 days, that's an additional $1,500 just in bonuses. So this is where I'm at to kind of give you guys an example. Leadership expansion bonus. This is the other stuff I was just talking about. So what I've got up to right now is I'm an area director. So that's where I'm at. That's what this pen you see in here. So this is what it just stands for. But these are just expansion bonuses. Basically just grow your team, right? I didn't want to get into too much of these because this is where a lot of the override and stuff kick in. But what I did want to share with you was you get a check match, 25% check match. So for anybody that you personally recruit, you get a 25% check match of what they do in their business. So that's pretty sweet too as well. There's a luxury car bonus. I'm actually I'm 70% of the way there. Well, this is just another bonus where they give you $500 a month to go spend on the car that you want, basically, from hitting this bonus. And they have 3 tiers to that. And since we're a financial literacy company, you don't have to go get no car. You can use this for whatever you want. You know, so we always want to keep that in mind too. You're not forced to go get no ride, right? Me and the wife, we've been arm wrestling over this. She don't want me to get a car. We're gonna talk about paying, you know, the whole payment and no cash and all that. I'm like, babe, if they're paying for it, let me see the car. So I still haven't won that one yet. Maybe I'll get there. I'll get her. I'm gonna get her eventually. But anyways, this is the tier, right? So there's 3 tiers here, and you don't have to get a vehicle. And then here, the daily guaranteed income. And this is where I just wanted to say here that this is what's impacting a lot of people. Remember, this stuff is just off of the 3. And I haven't talked about residual a lot, but guaranteed income, this is pretty much another thing that got me excited is getting 3 reps and 1 customer. They actually will pay you guaranteed. This is if you don't do any more work after this point, $5 a day. That's basically $150 a month, which is guaranteed. You must have 1 outside customer and 3 qualified for the daily guarantee. So what that means, you need to have 3 business reps and 1 customer, and they'll pay you $150 a day. I'll get my phone. So you got my phone, but I'll show you guys proof on where I'm at if you want to see it. So where I'm at right now is, if you just did this a couple of times, I'll show you where I'm at and what's exciting. So if we just did this on 1 level, you just help 3 people, 1 customer, that guarantees you at $150 a month. That's just this 1 pay. Like, we get paid 10 different ways, but I just like to talk on this one because this is the one that's the most exciting. You help 3 people, help them 3, show them how to get 3. This is where I just left. This is a senior director. That's $600 a month. Now, I want y'all to really pay attention to this. This is only 12 people total. This is me helping 3. So I got 1, 2, 3. I just helped y'all get 3 people. That's 12 people on my team paying me $600 a month. That's not a lot of people, you know. And it doesn't have to. You don't have to help them all. You don't have to get all 12. Like, collectively, if I helped you get 3, you get 3. Now I got 12 people on my team. That's locking me in at $600 a month, $20 a day. This is where I'm at right now as an area director. I did that 1 more time. So this goes down 8 levels. I think it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 levels deep if you did this. That's up to $1,000. That's why I like to blow a lot of smoke at people's, you know, because it's just the potential. But $1,000 a day, that's $3,000 a month. If we just did this 8 levels deep, you'll have over, 3,000 people on your team. This is where I'm at currently, right here. So right now, I'm at the area director. I'm doing $30 a day. I have over 50 people on my team. I do $900 a month, guaranteed, if I don't do nothing else. Just from doing what I'm doing right now with y'all, just from sharing this information. So I don't know about y'all, right? But 600, we talked about all this earlier. Most people are 1 paycheck away from being on the streets or being laid on a bill or whatnot. So most people get excited just at the $600. We ain't coming down up in here, but just at the 600. So now I'm at 9. So you probably understand I get pretty juiced about it just because that's pretty, regardless of doing nothing else. Just some insurance, right? So that's guaranteed income, and that's just all built off of the 3. So you can see the potential as your team grows. My guy, Jeff, that I told you about, and my guy Toby, they're right above me, so they're at the $100 a day. And they're at that, they got the car bonus and the luxury bonus. My dudes are making like $7,200. We're right around almost $5,200 actually, about $5,200 a month. That's just their guaranteed income, just from these bonuses and stuff, right? So it's exciting stuff. Just from sharing this info with people. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, there's some more bonuses and things of that nature if you grow your team, and it's all off of point based. So like I said, I'm gonna get caught up on all of that. And this is pretty much the strategy if you want to look at it as a whole. Let me pull this up. The power of 12. So this is a way to generate a 6-figure income. Just pull all this up. So if we were to look at it, if you want to generate 6 figures and know how to like really take this to the market and really be able to dominate, this is pretty much how we would look at it. Help 12 people. And from there, it's just like that 12 helps 5, that 5 helps 3, that 3 helps 2. You'll have over 612 people on your team, and it'll lock you into basically exploding, basically leveraging the whole comp plan, where you'll be at an $8,500 a month income just from really starting with 12 people and helping them. So if you want to look at it from a bigger picture, that's one way to be able to see yourself generating an easy, 6-figure income just with this opportunity. We just had our first person do this, where they actually are giving away $1 million ring. Terrence Hawkins, he had his first one when we were out there in Baltimore, so that was pretty cool to see him get that. They just added this. But it's just another little incentive, right? I mean, it's a ring, but it's cool. I mean, it's just that's why I felt cool about my pen, right? You see I'm rocking my pen. I got my pen out there, y'all. When I was out there, you know what I'm saying? So I felt good about that. But I ain't got the ring yet. There's Terrence Hawkins right there. So this dude here, he's an EA. He's a certified. Like hearing him give this same presentation is super powerful because he's an enrolled agent with the IRS. He's been doing taxes for 25 years. This is all he knows. He's been doing taxes since he was 15 years old.
Who is he to the company?
Far as he's a rep just like us. He's an executive district director, basically. Yeah. So he does this. One of the reasons, if you lost me, T-Hawk. But he got tax people, so he's in the office, and his secret is they're right in front of him. So he's able to tell if they got a W-2, if they're working a job, and they listen to him. So, I think if I was to say he got a caveat, that's it, they're doing taxes. So all of the potential people are in front of him every single day. But listening to this man speak, like everything I just talked about as far as taxes and stuff, I understood it. But hearing him speak, it's phenomenal. You know what I mean? 25 years of experience. So seeing someone come over here in this game and doing it just speaks volumes. You know what I mean? Because he's already got he's out there in Charlotte too as well. So if you're out there in Charlotte, holler at T-Hawk for sure. So it's just cool watching this man and learning from him. You know what I mean? So that's been cool. And then so it's the perfect business. We're at the end here. It's the perfect business for you. You get an instant pay raise. Refer others. Let the experts do the work for you. That's the key. And enjoy the rewards. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything you need to succeed. Hopefully you guys felt this valuable. Oh, you might be wondering how much is it? So let's just talk about that. And this will be the last slide here. It's pretty much, you got a couple of options. So let's pull them all up at the same time so you can see it. There we go. So you can be a customer and just do customer and take care of all the services for just $79 a month. Like I say, and there's no contract or anything of that nature. Get 3 people as a customer, your service is free. If you want to be a rep and make money sharing this powerful information, it's a one-time fee of just $99. Just one time. That's it. And then it's $40 a month for your back office. This is so you can actually see the stats, customers, all your analytics and things of that nature in the back office. But that's $40 a month. Okay? So if you were to combine the two, it's really a one-time investment of $228. That's it. $228 to start you a business, and then $120 a month for the service and the $40 for the back office. So a monthly of $120. So that's why I get so excited. Think about everything I just explained to you, how you can start a business for $228. And I explained to you in our strategy on how we actually are helping pay for the business. So that's not even coming out of your pocket. We're going to show you how to take it out of income that you may not know you qualify for. This is the most powerful slide of all the slides. So just pay attention here. If you found this information valuable, just look at this slide. This slide here is what's making us all the money. And I just think about this. If I'm showing you, or I'm showing people how to get an instant pay raise of $300 to $600 a month, a pay raise on their job, and the business only costs $120, what is it really costing them?
It's not.
It's not, right? Do y'all see that? We're putting money back in a person's pocket, and the business opportunity is only 120. It's not costing really anything, right? So that's why I love this so much. Because we always run into that excuse, I don't have the money and all that. Well, this kind of helps us overcome all that. And then that calculator that I showed you in the beginning, that's why I do that calculator, because we already know potentially what they can qualify for. So it's just an easy close. So that's one of the biggest slides there, is knowing that the business pays for itself. Also, what's so important is really, we don't even want your money if you're not getting no results. That's what's super powerful. Brian House, the owner, if you follow our action plan, the strategies and experts are not able to save or make you money in your first 30 days, we'll just give your money back. That's crazy powerful, y'all. We just give your money back. So that means if you can't save some money or make money on your taxes, or save money on your taxes, or make money from either the credit, the debt elimination, the land banking, or just else with the strategy, just get your money back. That's how powerful it is, and there's no questions asked. So there's really no risk, if you will. It's just a matter of just taking action. So the time is now. That's why I'm super excited about MWR. We actually are really showing people how to make wealth real. Like I said, this information isn't shared in schools and things of that nature. So, that's my presentation. I've talked a lot. Maybe you guys may have some questions, but that's pretty much it. I think for me, just kind of to get some feedback, is kind of just get your feedback on where you guys are at and in your decision making process, right? You don't have to sign up right this moment, but I am curious. You came down here, you wanted to figure out something. If there was a reason, I don't know what your personal reasons were. I don't know if Josh dragged y'all down here, but you showed up. You know what I mean? And you took time out of your day, which is important. We talk about how time is super important. So I'm just curious, what your guys' thought process is, and if you have any questions at this time. I'm pretty much.
Well, for me, the part that I like the most is helping other people see what they didn't really see without the knowledge. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I wouldn't have known any of this unless I met you, and you knew more than I did before you even started this company. So now you know even more because of the company. That's what I like. So
I just learned it from experience. That's why I got so passionate about it. I was dealing with it myself. I knew what it was like to be broke. Everyone's broke on different levels, I like to say. You know what I mean? Because we're just broke on different levels, basically. I don't care if you're making a 6-figure income. If you're one check away from not being able to take care of those bills, you're broke. You're just broke at a higher level than I may be broke at. Basically, right? If you don't have enough money to supersede, or you're living off the interest of your money, or have enough for, like say, 6 months, 8 months of just money set aside, you're just broke on a different level. So I'm still learning, bro. But I think one of the reasons I always was receptive to this type of information, and it just always boggled me, like, man, this is crazy. Like, our money can do that? It's just crazy, So, you guys have any questions? You have any questions?
I have several on the business side of things, not on the consumer side.
Okay.
So, my first question is, you talked a lot about guaranteed income.
Right.
So that's guaranteed income as long as you're with MWR.
Correct.
Okay. So your residuals will never follow you, even if, like I said, in your cap, right? You would have to be with the company longevity to get, because I know you talked about residual income. Like in my world, we have residuals, but we have to have like a 7 to 10 year commitment before we could even see 3% of our residuals follow us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm basically saying is so you can build up your business, and let's just say in 10 years, you're like, okay, I'm done, I'm financially free, I've hit my goal, but now do your residuals stop?
No, they stay.
Okay.
No, you're good. So, great question. So basically, it's just about your team activity. Only way it would stop is if the organizations you built all the quitters on.
Okay.
Basically, does that make sense?
Yeah, so you still make the money off of your team
Absolutely.
and not your individual, or is that more in-depth question?
Well, let's figure it out. I just want to make sure you get an answer. So to answer your question, you get paid off anything you build. So for instance, let's just use the consumer side. Well, not the consumer side, but the consumer side from the business perspective. So with all the customers, as long as those customers are active, remember how I said the 3 for free, you get paid the $40 for each customer when they sign up. And then you get paid after that third one, the fourth on, you get paid $10 a month.
Right.
As long as those people are still active, still get paid $10 a month.
Okay,
For-
now that rolls into my second
Okay,
question.
cool.
So you get paid the $10 as long as they're paying,
Correct.
but they have the option to quit, like, so say for instance, they, like all of the services they need, especially like the credit portion of it,
Correct.
they were in for like 6 months.
Correct.
And then they stop,
Okay.
then your money stops.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, as a customer, that is correct. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah. Now, to go to the business, we're still on the business side. I brought in Josh, for example, right? As long as Josh has built his organization, he's still active. I get a check match on everything that Josh is doing, 25%. So,
And then all the people that I include,
yeah,
they have to stay active
correct,
for the residuals to continue.
correct,
So whoever drops off, then
Correct.
those residuals might decrease.
correct. So one of the things, this is why we like this model, and why I like it, is one of the biggest things, as you may know, is you're hitting something right on the head. I like to address the elephant in the room is retention. People quit, you know what I'm saying? So one thing I do like about this is that 3 for free. That's why we shoot for that. If you get somebody something for free, where are they going? Where they going? Like, you know, especially if they're getting paid, where they going? I'm going nowhere. So that's why I like shooting. I always push to help people get their 3 and free. With us, the way we've built, one of the reasons that I was really able to get to executive area director is because the guy who brought me in, he's a madhouse, Toby Price. He's just crushing it. And the way we're building is we're really just helping the people underneath us. So we had so many people in my organization that it made me get back on fire. Because now I got this money just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? And I just needed to have a few other things active for me to get this money. He don't put all underneath me because he's wanting to lock in what you're talking about. And how you do that is making sure everyone is active. How do you do that? Help people. Help them. If I recruit somebody, like say for instance, who's on our team or whatnot, same thing, anybody on our team, that's what I love about our team, is we want to see everybody win, you know? So we're just placing people underneath other individuals. And if you got 2 people, you need 1 person, I'll just give you 1. Why? I'm locking in my code. Like, I may not make the upfront money. Obviously, I would make more if I directly sponsored them and I did them. But just give me your link. I'll shoot them underneath because you need that 3. I got your 3 free. You're not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that helps answer your question.
It does. So my question is, like, what are some of the strategies that MRW uses once a person has run out of their warm market?
That's awesome. Grab my bag real quick. Grab me that shirt out there. I just want to show them a couple of our strategies. And then, are you done recording, man?
No.
Oh, okay. So well, you got your shuffle.
Yeah.
So I'm just showing you a couple of things that's helped us duplicate. Because that's a great question. Because it's not MWR, it's our team. So I don't want to bash MWR. They got some good stuff in place. Our team, we're the fastest growing team in the company, and it's mainly because we have duplication going on. And 2 things that we're doing that's duplicatable is, one is this shirt. I almost wore it today, but Josh didn't talk about it. It's just funny. This shirt is super powerful, and the reason I'm saying this is because everyone can't get up here and do what I'm doing. And this ain't duplicatable. To be honest with you, right? What is duplicatable? So let me share with you our system that's been duplicated. Lakeisha? Ah, I got it. Cool. I was going to say Latasha, but I knew I was like, hey. So Lakeisha, let me ask you a quick question. Do you know anybody who could use instant pay raise on their job? That's our #1 question. Great. What I want to, I asked you that question. So if I was to flip it, because I asked you that answer. Are you currently working a job? It could be yay or nay. I just stay and ask that question. You only want to use instant pay raise on their job. Okay, yes, great. I want to shoot you some information, have you take a look at it. Once you get done taking a look at it, I'll actually give you a good informed decision. Is that okay? This shuffle card that we have, I don't know if you heard of that, that's all we do. We do 3 things. We peak interest, present the information, collect the decision. That's it. No selling. I don't like no people who are new to do anything.
You want me to pull my shuffle
Just
card?
pull up your shuffle card. Any selling at all. Because we want that's duplicatable. Asking the person would they like an instant pay raise in their job. Yeah, okay, great. Hey man, what I want to do is I want to shoot you my business card, watch the information. After that, I just want to collect a decision from you. Whether it's there or nay, I don't care. I just want to know what it is. Is that cool? Yeah, that's it. When people watch this presentation, it's like, did you watch the video? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. Lakeisha, what did you like best about it? And they'll tell us whether it was the credit, whatever it is, whatever they say. That's the same thing I like about that information. Let me ask you, where do you see yourself getting started? As a customer, as a rep, or both? And then shut up. That's all we do. And then they're going to tell you. I see myself getting that rate as a customer. Okay, cool. Only thing left at that point is the money. Where they at? And I'll be honest with you, I run into all of it, right? So if they broke, I figure it out. I do. If the only thing stopping them is money, let's figure that out. So, I mean,
A lot of it's mindset too, though.
it's mindset.
Well, that was my next question.
Yeah.
So,
I want to show you this card.
You just gotta press the bottom in the middle and it'll open it.
So what I was going to show you is this card, and then we'll go into your next question. So this shuffle card, this is why it's duplicatable. This is an app that we have people download. This is a virtual business card. So you can see here, Joshua's been pushing. You'll see it about 65 times, 157 views. Well, all it is, we'll go on this card. They say, let me text it to you real quick. I ask them for their name, number. So we will go in here, and I'll just stick in their name and their phone number, right? But long story short is I end up sending them this card. So this card here, this was duplicatable. All it is the presentation. There's a video of the presentation, explains pretty much what I did here in more of a shorter version, if you will. Some stuff that explains land banking and things of that nature. But it's enough press and information for him to make a decision. And they can sign up right here from the card. It's a business card. They can connect with you wherever you're at, but they can sign up right here. So it's like when I have them on the phone, where you see yourself getting started, customer rep, okay, cool. On that card, go down here, customer, click that, and it'll take them where they can sign up. So the reason I say that is because between that and this shirt, this is for the rookies, I won't say the rookies, but my wife would tell you I've been rocking the hell out of this shirt, and it's been working. And it's loud, it's super loud, but this is what we tell our team members to get. Walk around with this on, and I promise you, someone will be like, you fix credit? I'm like, yeah, I fix credit, but we do a little bit more than that. And I was asking, you want to answer pay on your job too? Cool. What's your number? I'm going to text you this information. That's it. That's what we're doing on this team, is this shirt and them cards. That's it. Now we got other methods. I got Facebook stuff I can show you, and paid advertising and things of that nature. But if you want to keep it super dumb simple, those are the only two tools we use, the shirt and that card. Because that's duplicatable.
So most people who need help with their finances are usually people who you've identified on the screen, which is very, people who are living from paycheck to paycheck. So how do you cure that not having enough money feedback? Or I guess
the pay rate strategy. So the deductions I showed y'all,
right.
That's how we do it.
But they would have to be a member to get that perk, right?
Yes, you do. You need to at least be at the $79 range.
Oh.
Yeah, to get, because the $79 will help you understand on how to get the pay raise. Right now, to qualify for it, you need to have a business with the intent to make a profit. Right. So those two elements need to be in place. I've run across people who didn't have, I work with people personally. So it's like, I've done this a couple of times. I know I have a person that didn't have no money, right? Just flat out broke, see the opportunity, want to take care of her kids, the whole nine. I get it. I say, well, let's do this, right? You see it, she's like, I want to become a rep. I say, cool. So I've had a couple of people say they're dead broke. This is what we'll do. 3 people who can use instant pay raise, great. I'm going to help you. Let's call them. I'll do the talking. I'll help them or whatnot, run them through this process. I said, as soon as we know we have 3 people who are ready to go, we'll figure out a way. That's what I'm trying to be very discreet in what I'm saying, but basically we help people. I'll come out of my pocket for some people, right? But I want to see them put the skin in the game. So now if I know they got 3 people ready to go, my money's right there. So I didn't sign them up technically, but I still help them. Let's go ahead and let's make this work then. If you're serious, show me you're serious. I'll work with you. You ain't got to have no bread. That's just my philosophy. Because when I help them make money, where are they going?
But you're gonna get it back on the backside anyway.
Where are they going?
So-
I have big enough vision to see how I can make my money work for me and help a person who don't have money. I get strategic with that. If they're serious, I'll help them. And just put together the game plan. Show them how to get a result. If a person is that broke, they need to be doing something different.
Or it just becomes a donation.
You
That's
know?
what it is.
Does that make sense? So I've sponsored a handful of people who had no money. Why? Is because what did I do? So another way that I'll close. I don't have a 228. How much of that can you come up with? Oh, Shawn, man, I could probably do 100. Perfect, send that to me. So I'll lock in that 100 and I'll go to work for them. Let's get those other 2 people who need that. I'll come up with 50. This is me. Everyone don't gotta do this. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, I truly
So
love
my
helping.
last final question, so you can
No, you fine.
different down there,
Yeah.
is I guess I'm trying to figure out a way, because the private reserve
Reserve.
accounts
Mhm.
are pretty much locked into some of the things that I already do.
Right. I kinda
So
thought
I don't
that.
want to take money out of my own pocket by.
I got
But
you.
are there
Because you
some-
provide that, huh? You do that.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
I provide more so like the private reserve accounts through like annuity products.
I got you. So
And
you
life,
versed in that. See, I ain't that
so
versed.
yeah, so like life insurance and annuity products kind of work together.
You got it.
And they're creating, massive products across the board, to be able to, get different people qualified. So my question is like, is there a certain qualification you have to have for this private reserve account? Because, some people don't qualify for that.
Absolutely, that's a great question. I would say the biggest thing I think that qualifies is money, really. And the minimum that they like to see is about $300 a month.
I mean, so yeah, we have products, you can start as low as like $100 a month, but attached to that is like, they want you to have certain A, B, C, and D to be able. So I guess I'm saying in my own head,
Mhm.
is like, do I use this strategy as people who don't qualify for my current products because these qualifications aren't
That's a
as
great question.
steep?
Yeah, what I would recommend for that, because that's a little bit out of my wheelhouse, is talking to one of our people. And what I mean by that is like core burner, the people who actually sell that PRA. Because basically what we've done, we just have licensed professionals like yourself, basically selling those programs. So what I would recommend is I can get you in contact with like Core Burner, that's who sells the PRA. Just someone who's in that field, so that way the terminology is more versed. Because I hear what you're asking me, but I don't want to answer it wrong.
Well, I do know that, so I have a couple of friends that are real estate agents, and Toby, who's higher in the hierarchy, there's actually a shuffle that you can introduce to them that's more business oriented, so they can use it to represent people that need more credit for those situations. So there's like a different realm that you would enter if you needed it for people that need more credit.
Yeah, she's asking a little bit of a different question. But I just wanted to be clear. But she was asking more of like, 'cause she sells insurance. So she wanted to know how she can capitalize on both, or which one, like how not to step on
So-
her toes.
Right, so I
Right.
am looking for another stream of income, which is my purpose of being here.
Right,
And like you said, I'm very experienced with the lotion potions. I've done it
right,
all.
right.
But in seeing that, I don't want to like clash with what I'm already doing. So just making sure that the product works. Ultimately, knowing that I've been in this industry and community for a while, and it's very hard to educate in
Very.
certain communities
Sure.
about
Yep.
just this. People are very in our community.
Right.
People are very stuck in not wanting to have an open book about their finances.
Right.
Because either, they're ashamed, it's really that bad,
Right.
or they don't trust you enough to be like,
Absolutely.
I'm struggling this bad.
Right.
So like for the first 3 years, I struggled, in my own
Right.
business now to even be able to, get that traction.
Sure.
So wanting to see like from your point of view, like how do you really get that traction with the community outside of your warm market
Right.
of how and there's ways that
There's
you do it,
ways.
but
We would sit
what's the
down.
quick way? I need quick money.
So I always like to sit down with an individual because
Besides the t-shirt, I need some quick money.
that's a great question. So with that being, because this is duplicatable,
Yes.
so what you're asking, I like to sit down with people and structure something that's in their comfort zone. The reason I say that is because even there's different marketing strategies, but everyone's not comfortable with the different strategies. For instance, this is just me, but I'm looking at you and it seems like you might be okay getting on video. That's just me.
Yeah, I don't do social media. That's my biggest downfall.
You see what I mean? So you don't even do it. So we have to just dial through that
Yeah.
and figure out what marketing strategy works best for you. right? I'll do it all. I don't mind getting in front of the camera. But my biggest thing when you say get out there, that camera.
I know it works wonders. I
Stop
see some of my counterparts doing wonderful things and being able to do those Facebook videos and just drive that traffic, but
it encompasses everything: the building the life, trust, the credibility,
getting on there,
putting the value out there, all those things. So we have to tailor something that's in your comfort zone.
right?
If that makes sense.
I mean, because I'm just like you. Like I spend tons of money, like for rooms and seminars and things like that. And when I try to tailor to my own community, it's a room of zero,
Yep.
you know, but when I tap into different markets,
Yeah,
you know,
they're
people
there.
who understand it a little bit better. But then again, not to be, you know, I
Right.
mean, I don't
No.
want to bring the elephant
No,
in the
you're
room,
fine. Yeah.
but like a black girl trying to preach to 6 white men,
Right.
they're like, yeah,
You
okay.
can talk to my
stop.
wife about that.
So I'm
She's very-
stuck, like
Right.
I'm really stuck, you know, and I do great in Arizona, I do great in Kansas, because those markets are doing a little bit better. Like our community they have more money in those areas, you see what I'm saying? So they're a little bit above the
I got you.
poverty level,
Yep,
so
yep.
I really have to seek outside of,
Yep.
to do well, so I'm just trying to figure out how this all works in my head.
No, so great question. Just strategy. I think it's hard to address it just in this setting, but I got tons of different marketing strategies. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so
You know what I mean?
I
I got
money back in 30 days if I ain't got no cash in my pocket.
Well, let's get it.
Tell me now.
Hey, no results. You
No
know,
And I
results.
want that in black and white.
Yeah, I got you.
Wherever the
Well,
contract says I can have
as long as
my
you
money
follow
back.
the directions, you
The
know.
plan, and I mean, you're. See, I'm not a hype dude.
What?
I come from it. I come from hype. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want to be hypey, but seriously, you're in a crazy position. It's hard for you to see it because you're there, right? I've been around for a minute in the industry itself, so just to give you some perspective, the reason I'm saying that is because the position that we're all in is pretty phenomenal. To be honest with you, this company is not old. They've been around for 25 years. They were brick and mortar doing this stuff. They didn't want to do that model anymore, so they went to network marketing. So they've been 2 years now refining this thing. So they've had an extension of, if you go Google this, it was MWR Life. Now it's MWR Financial, because the MWR Life was a travel company or whatnot. That was that department. So my point of that is this is only 2 years old, so they're still in pre-launch. I just came back from Baltimore, and I'm an executive area director. I was saying it earlier, he didn't want to say it up here. But
I did say it.
No, you did, but remember I was
Oh,
telling you the 3 parts. So anyways, I'm 3 levels from basically maxing out this whole complex. The dude who brought me in, Jeff and Toby, they're district managers. That dude I showed you with the ring, district manager. That's it. And then once again, it's not a racial thing. We're all black. Sitting at the top of this thing. Basically, there's no one in Denver.
I'm 9%.
But I'm just saying as far as a company. So it's like for me, I've seen a lot of stuff, and it's like maybe on the ground floor. I've never even heard that kind of like being pushed around, but it's real. And I'm sitting here like, my goodness, I actually got a winner here. Like not just with the vehicle, but actually where I'm sitting. There's no one we're in. The reason you never heard of this is because I'm the first.
We're just at the beginning too.
I'm
We're
the
the
first
front
one.
train.
I'm the first one to bring it to the state. You never will hear about this. There's three companies in this niche. You got FES, Financial Educational Services, and My Econ. That's it. There's only 3 companies in this niche, in this space. And the reason I feel that we're the best, and this bias, but I feel is true, is FES only focuses on credit. They do what we do in the credit, but that's all they do. It's credit. They don't do instant pay raise. They don't do debt elimination. They're not showing you investments. My Econ, they're a do-it-yourself service, and they just educate you on the aspects. You still got to go in there and learn it, and now go do all your letters yourself. We're a done-for-you service.
So have you used the brand?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The biggest one for me, like I was saying in the beginning, has been the PRA. Right when I got my hand on this, I just fixed our credit. We just bought it out. So I didn't necessarily, I'm not an employee. I haven't worked a job in 10 plus years. I can't use an instant pay rate. You feel what I'm saying? I don't have a lot of debt. So the only service that I pretty much could use really was the private reserve account, which caught my attention because I was doing good in my own business. So I'm just being transparent. That was the only service I could really use. I understood all the concepts, and I knew a lot of people who could use it. So I've been a business owner and a PRA service piece. So, I mean, those are the only ones I could truly speak from. I
You
mean,
help people. Did he just say help people? He gonna give you $100?
right,
I'm
right.
just joking, alright, I asked him, I was like,
Well,
I
he
got
said,
enough
what can you
information.
come with first?